Welcome to Monkey Chatter. Monkey Chatter is a podcast by three great friends who have different perspectives on all things wellness. So let's jump right into today's topic.
Everybody, welcome to Monkey Chatter. This is Lara, and I'm here with Michelle and Amy. And this episode is part two, actually, of our two show series about the importance of gut health. And basically what gut health is and how it affects you. And for this week's, this episode, basically we kind of challenged ourselves to read a couple of books and watch a documentary. I think between the three of us, we got all three of those things done.
Not one of us got all three of them.
Zero of us got all three of them done, but between the three of us, we got all three of those things done. So does somebody have the books to show in case somebody's watching us on YouTube? But there's The Mind Gut Connection, which is by Emmerin Mayer, Dr. Emmerin Mayer, MD. How the hidden conversations of our bodies impacts our mood and our choices. And then the other book is called Fiber Fueled, the Plant-Based Gut Health Program for Losing Weight, Restoring Your Health, and Optimizing Your Microbiome, which was written by Will Bulsiewicz, MD, known as Dr. B in the book. And then the third thing was this documentary on Netflix, which was called Hack Your Health. What was the actual title of it?
I don't know. Hack Your Health. I don't really know.
The Secrets of Gut Health, I think, is what it was, or The Secrets of Gut
Let me see
something.
Pull that up real quick. Continue to chat amongst yourselves.
So basically, the other thing we talked about was, maybe working in some of the concepts from the Fiber Fueled book, which is very much a proponent of plant-based and high fiber. And one of the things he talks about is trying to get 30 different forms of plant-based foods in your diet every week. 30 different types, which is a little challenging, but I tracked it and I know Michelle was kind of looking at it. So we'll talk about that as well.
It was called
and then the idea that your gut kind of controls everything. What do they call it? The second brain or something? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The documentary was Hack Your Health, The Secret of Your Gut was the official title of it.
The Secret of Your Gut on Netflix. And that one has a lot of poop in it. Just be warned.
Don't eat anything while you're watching it.
No, don't eat on your couch while you're watching it. So I guess I'll throw out that I read a lot of, not all of, most of the Fiber Fueled, and I was really fascinated because I'm already plant-based, and I do feel like ever since I switched to plant-based, which was about 5 years ago, I feel better just overall, energy-wise, mood-wise, weight-wise. I feel like I've been able to maintain my weight easier without dieting, even though I am of an age where that's not typically an easy thing to do. So I really enjoyed the book and its concepts because it wasn't foreign to me and it was a little easier for me. But the challenging part was this 30 different types of plant-based foods in a week. And I was like, okay, that's easy for me. And I wrote down everything that I had eaten that day, thinking like it's going to be like 10, right? It wasn't as many as I thought. And I had to challenge myself a little bit to try to do more than my normal. Like I have the green smoothie every morning, and I always have like something with quinoa and beets and some roasted vegetables or whatever. So I did, and I made the list, and I mean, it was kind of fun because at the end of the week I was like, oh my God, I'm so close. I got to get to these last few. And the book has some really interesting recipes at the end of it as well, too, because they want you to try this 28-day plan. And then notice how your gut reacts. So that was interesting. And I feel like my gut is fairly healthy just based on what I read in that book. What do you guys think?
Michelle.
Okay. So I was clearly expecting Amy to go, but
I was like, I've never seen you at a loss for words.
I'll come up with something, right? But isn't that true?
I mean, I can. So here's my question for you, Michelle.
Okay.
Did you because on the last episode we talked about like how much fiber it's depending on what you read, like basically 14 grams per 1,000 calories, or like women are 25 grams or whatever. Did you, and you were like, that seems like a lot. And I was like, really? Did you track that to figure out where you were with
I
that?
did
Or
a
did
little
you just
bit.
track
Yeah.
the number?
Yeah. So like, and so funny. So like today at lunch, I actually was, I threw some, I was eating up a bunch of leftovers, right? So I had some leftover like spinach and white beans that I just sort of made into soup. And I threw some of those, what are those noodles that are, there's some sort of root noodle. Lara, you might know. It starts with a K.
Oh, I know what you mean. They're low or no carb noodles.
Yeah.
I've bought them. I've also seen them, I think called like shirataki or
Yeah,
something.
that's it. Yeah.
Shirataki.
Yeah. And
They're
so
plant-based
yeah,
noodles.
so I was like, okay, here's another plant. And I was like, oh, well, how many grams of fiber are in here? And there's actually, because I used the whole pack, right? So it was 2 servings. So I want to say that gave 4 grams. So
Oh, that's
between
pretty good.
that and the white beans that I had in there, like, I'm like, oh, and the spinach is like,
It's not that much.
You can't eat
and
enough. You
no,
can't eat
you
enough
have
of
to
it.
eat a
Like you can eat the
bushel.
entire bag and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Like
kind
it's
of
good. You want to
yeah.
have it, but it doesn't make a big difference. I thought it would, but yeah.
Exactly. So I sort of I was like, I will forget that. It doesn't even matter. So, but with the noodles and the beans, I mean, that was a decent amount of fiber. So I definitely am paying more attention to fiber. And yeah, beans definitely are super helpful. And I really had stopped eating bread for the most part. Dave's Killer Bread is one of the things that, I have eaten, even just like, one slice of that, if I'm going to have an egg or something in the morning, was really helpful to get that, fiber in there. Definitely paying more attention to that. Like, Lara, so when I had first heard about the 30, fruits and vegetables, in my mind, I was thinking, well, first of all, when I first heard it, I thought they wanted you to do that in a day. And I was like, well, clearly that's not
Great.
possible, right? So then
Big
when I
chunk
was like,
of
oh,
plant.
I know you would,
That's
I'm like,
aggressive.
how do you do that? Like, you'd have to just make I don't even know how you would do that. So, but then I was like, oh, it's a week. And then when I found out it could also include nuts and beans and grains and anything plant-based, I'm like, well, this is way easier. So that was kind of fun. And I was saying before we hopped on here, it definitely caused me to make different choices when I was eating out, because I would pick vegetables or a fruit or something that I wouldn't normally have at home. Like, let's face it, Brussels sprouts out, I just don't make them as well as
Same.
some
Better
restaurants.
out.
Oh man.
Oh, I love them in the air fryer. Have you guys ever done them in the air fryer?
Somebody else recommended that. I have not.
I haven't. I've
Yeah.
done them in a skillet and they're good. They just take a while
They're
and stink
just
up the whole house.
Yeah, they're not as
yeah.
crunchy. I'm gonna have to try the air fryer.
Do the air fryer. If you just put like a little bit of olive oil on them, and then I just use some sort of like random seasoning, like a vegetable seasoning or whatever. Yeah, throw it around and they get like
put them in there?
crunchy.
How long do you?
I don't know. I just check them. I don't even really know. Like
I just how air fryers work. Like I never set the temperature or the time. I just
just put them in until they turn crispy.
And then I'm like, oh, I smell them, and then I open it. And I'm like, not yet. Shut the door.
And I like hack them in half or like quarter them, because if not, then they don't get like
crunchy. Like
to do them
they get
whole,
mushy. Yeah.
But yeah,
so,
if you quarter them or half them.
So that definitely helped me. Like I definitely started making different conscious choices when I was ordering. Like, oh, can you, subs, because I don't need any more broccoli. Like I can make that at home, and I have that a lot. Or cauliflower, I use a lot of cauliflower rice, so I'm like, I really don't want to eat that out. But there are, certain things that I'm like, oh yeah, or I'm going to put beets on this salad or whatever. So it made me really I have to say, if nothing else, I think that it made me super conscious about my, first of all, fiber in general, and then what I was choosing to get the fiber. So who knew?
Yeah. And I do think over time, I mean, he does talk about FODMAP,
Yes.
which that was something that I've heard over and over again. And I was like, I
I
don't
actually looked that up.
really
That's
know
so
what
funny
that
you
is. I
say
looked it
that.
up. So yeah,
Yeah,
do you have it handy? Because I
I
would love
do.
to.
Hang on. It's on one of
I
my
think
little
people
notes.
hear that but are like, what is that? And I didn't know either.
Okay. It is FODMAP, fermentable short chain carbs. Can be, oh, wait a minute, that was different.
Well,
Hang
and
on.
what, that was
I'll
my
find it.
first thing was I've seen it and I see FODMAP friendly all the time on certain things,
And
but
you're
what is
like,
it?
what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
But
And the
basically,
letters
they're
are
fermentable
F
short.
is in, yeah, F is in Frank, O, D is in dog, M,
Hang
A,
on.
P is in Paul.
FODMAP. Hang on.
FODMAP, just like it sounds.
12.
But so it was interesting because what I didn't realize this was a lot of what they do. And the reason that he is very sensitive about it in this book is because if you were starting from scratch, if you are a person that doesn't eat much fiber or mainly eats like meat and a lot of prepared foods, your gut might react badly at first to adding a bunch of these FODMAP foods.
So,
And
okay,
people with
here you
That
go.
doesn't go
IBS,
well for
This is
people.
what it
it might be a
stands
shock.
for. So, fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and is it polyols?
Polyols is what I think. Yeah.
Polyols. Yeah. So they're
Yes.
foods that are by definition fermentable. So basically it's your fermentable foods. And they're poorly absorbed, which means that they draw water into the intestine and can cause diarrhea. Yep.
But that's only in people who are sensitive, according to
Safe
some
and
of the stuff I
digestion.
read.
Good, good.
So it's basically people who might have sensitive digestion systems, which, according to the Faberfield book, he thinks you can overcome that with time and with reintroducing these foods carefully. People with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and something called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And, we all know people who have stomach issues all the time. So yeah, so that's something he does not caution against, but he's careful. Like if you're introducing a
Yep.
whole brand new thing, to go with the low FODMAP stuff first. And that way you won't have to deal with some of that. But
Yeah,
apparently
there's
it's
a
because you're
whole,
eating stuff that's not
yeah.
digested easily. It takes
Right.
more time, and so therefore it goes into the hindgut. Oh my God, did I just say the hindgut?
Yeah,
My
you
God.
did.
Sorry,
We're
that's
back
a
at
horse.
horses.
Horse nutrition.
That's not
You know,
you.
It actually
I
goes
did
into the large intestine and not the small intestine.
I did a nutrition talk the other night at the gym, and I kept saying
Hindgut.
like in your if you look at the tag on your feed, you were talking about like reading food labels. And I was like, whoa, I keep like screwing up. I keep intermixing my jobs here.
Yeah, it was, and
Yeah.
in here he talks about FODMAPs are actually incredibly healthy, and most of them are prebiotics. So yeah, so you don't want to
You don't want to not use them, but you have to
right.
reintroduce them carefully,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I thought that was. I had to. That's funny you said that, because I was like, okay, I really need to just find out what this, because you see it all the time, the FODMAP thing, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
Same
So
here.
I was like, now I know, and I can't say that improved my life immensely, but now I know.
Well, if you do have reactions to anything you're adding in, it could be that, and that is
Yeah.
temporary, and you can eliminate it and then go back to it later when your gut is healthier.
I gotta tell you, I seriously can eat almost, and like I just have
Same.
like one of those cast iron stomachs, I guess they used to call them. Like
Yeah, same. I'm
there's
lucky.
very little. Yeah,
But I
And
do notice if what I eat affects me. It affects my mood. It affects my energy levels. It affects sometimes even like if I feel achy or not. Like,
I definitely want to pay attention to that, like the inflammation piece, because just because things hurt sometimes. So I think
yeah,
it goes back to when we hopped on here, like talking about the irritation of tracking what you're eating. But I really do think that has huge value, especially if you know what you're kind of looking for. I think maybe sometimes the problem with like tracking what you're eating is when people tell you to do that and you're just tracking what you're eating and you're like, well, to what end? Like, Why do I
Yeah.
care? What am I looking for? Like how so for me for sure I really want to track mood with my food. Um
I feel like that is the title of this podcast right now.
yeah, mood with my
Mood with my
food.
food.
Yeah. All right, Amy. So of course I had I had plenty of words, lots of words. What do you have to say?
I don't know. Eat your fruits and vegetables. The same thing I said last week. Last time.
Okay, you did say that, but I was like wondering too, because this is my question was for Amy, because I know you're very
no.
regimented about meal prep and all that. And I feel like you probably have go-to stuff that you eat all the time. How do you get enough variety?
So I do eat a lot. Yeah, I eat a lot of the same things. But like I just did it today. Like one of my big things is just doing salads, and I'll switch it up. Like today it was, some sort of mixed greens. So there's usually like, I don't know, 3 different kinds of stuff in there. Sometimes if I'm feeling really ambitious, I'll like cut up a head of red cabbage and like put that on top.
Cabbage.
And then like carrots and olives and radishes and mushrooms and edamame and peas and corn. Obviously not all at one time. Huh?
You do really good then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do those all on every single one. Like, I'll kind of go through phases, and literally, I'll just. And this is one of the things I talked about. I did a nutrition talk on food prepping and stuff, and one of the big hurdles for me is opening cans. I have no idea why, but like cans of chickpeas or cans of black beans.
Oh, they come in little cartons now. Have you seen that?
Cartons?
Cartons?
Oh my God. I just bought white beans. I love these things.
Like a milk carton?
They're like a little, because first of all, I hate the big can, because then beans do not keep
like
well because they stink,
Little cans.
Yeah, little cans.
But this was like a little, like, when you buy chicken broth and it's in the box.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, it's like
So
that.
it's like that, but like little, like half the size. And
I've never seen those.
Oh my God, I'm like, this is magical. Like,
we don't have that in my state.
Yeah,
I will, the next one I buy, I will show you, I'll bring it on the podcast and show you what it looks like. But I've only found like organic cannellini, I think white beans, cannellini beans. I haven't found the other ones, but that's because that annoys me. Like, I wouldn't eat beans because it's too much. Like,
Wait,
you can,
why? I'm confused. Both of you have trouble with cans?
Well, I just can't. I feel like there's too much, like bean-wise, there's too much in a normal size can of beans.
Cans.
Like the 8-ounce or the teeny ones?
Like no, the 8-ounce.
Just
that's
a
a big
can.
one. Yeah, I buy the little teeny ones. I can't eat all that.
Buy glass containers and put half the beans in there.
Well, so my gosh, that was the whole point I was getting at here. Wow, we have derailed. But like, so the whole point is like, I will like randomly just pick stuff out of the pantry and open up several cans. Like right now I have red beets, black olives. What else do I have up there? Black beans and like chickpeas or something, and probably corn or something. And but I'll open the cans because I won't do it daily. Like if I have to open a can to make a salad, I'm not gonna do it. So when I do my food prep, quote unquote, I open all the cans, put them in glass containers in there, and then I just like literally like pull out this whole stack of glass containers, and I'm like, and then I have little sticky notes on top of the glass containers that say how many grams are a serving, and then like, and it just goes down like it's like a little buffet sort of thing. Put it in
like a little of this, a little of that,
giant bowl. Yeah,
that's a good idea. I do not mind opening cans, but I do something similar. I usually open a can for whatever I'm making, or if it's food prep and I'm making a big batch for that I can use the rest of the week, and then whatever beans are left go in a bowl or a container, and I have switched to glass. And sometimes if I have like, white beans, I'll mix all the leftover white beans in one container because they all kind of go together anyways. Yeah. And chickpeas go with everything. So sometimes I'll even like whatever's left, I'll toast like in the oven with a little salt and pepper and olive oil. And they're great to throw on top of anything you eat.
Okay, again, I've never been able to roast chickpeas successfully. Like, what temperature? How long? What am I doing?
Make sure they're dry. I did find that out. Like if they're not
Canned ones-
dry, they don't get crunchy.
Well, how do
They
you
don't
get them
get
dry?
crunchy.
You just like leave them
Paper towel.
hanging out on how long? Like forever? Like
Forever.
like
Ever.
is it all day? Is it a couple hours? Like how do I have to roll them around? Like how long does it take to dry chickpeas?
I mean, you don't have to have them like dry.
Fluff them.
Fluff and
Just
buff 'em.
like towel them off so they're not soaking wet.
Okay.
And then
how long do you cook
a
them?
teeny tiny bit of olive oil and then mix them with some spices.
Okay.
Yeah, like
And for
curry
how
powder.
long? At what
Curry
temperature?
powder.
Curry is good.
What temperature? How long?
400 for like 10 minutes.
Okay.
I
Oh.
just guess.
Yeah,
You
I
can
was gonna
also
say.
air fry them.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I
That
will say
air fryer.
they never get as crunchy as the ones I buy pre-made in the
Right?
store. I don't know
Never.
why,
Yeah.
but they still
Yeah.
are better than not crunchy.
It's
at
mushy.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I love all that stuff, but I gotta tell you,
I do love chickpeas.
yeah.
I will say I don't know for a fact, but I feel like chickpeas might be high FODMAP, meaning they can give you gas and bloating. But again, if you start slow and work your way up, but any bean, I feel like any beans are gonna do that.
Well, the thing, so I'm always balancing the bean intake. Oops, sorry about that. Against
With the
just lost
carbs.
my phone. Yeah, against the carbs, right? So I can only eat like a quarter of a cup at a time, and a quarter of a cup is nothing. I'm sorry, like who even thought that was
not enough?
Like that's not even a measurement, for God's sakes. But anyway, so that is one of the things that I do bump up against is like, oh, great, I can do a quarter of a cup, and I got this whole friggin' can of like. So that's why I was so excited when I found like, oh, this is a smaller amount. Like this can actually is gonna last.
About the cartons of beans,
I
I'm gonna
know.
look for those.
They are so cute. I
Is
can't believe I threw it away. I should have
it
saved
be
it.
like a recycling thing? Like maybe
That's
your
what I was
area
wondering.
is more in tune to like
I
waste?
don't think that's true, but
'Cause you
I
can
think
recycle cans.
it's just this specific company that does these organic cannellini beans or white. I don't even know if it says cannellini. I'm saying cannellini, but
And I love
white
cannellini
beans, and I love them. They're delicious.
Yeah, they're so good.
I'm Googling cartons of beans and I can't find any.
We are on a mission to find cartons of beans.
I know.
Okay, dear listeners, if you have cartons of beans in your local
They're
grocery
little,
store,
it's
please
perfect.
Yes,
let
please
us know.
send us a picture.
Send a
just
picture
cut the
and
top
post
off
it
and
online or
then
something. Yeah.
dump them in your little strainer, and they're like half the amount of a big can of beans.
And then you don't have the waste or the
find
save.
it. I'll send you a picture.
do find I'm running out of room in my fridge and my freezer because I'm food prepping and then putting things away for later. I don't know. I mean, I have found if I shop like farmers market style, I will get more variety. And I have the advantage of getting a farm share box every week.
Right. Yes.
So
yeah.
I'm sort of forced sometimes to use things and, get things that maybe I wouldn't just go buy. And that's nice. 'Cause like even the kale and like, Swiss chard, like I'll prep it and put it into a big bowl with a lid, but I'll put like a wet paper towel on top and it seems to keep longer that way. And then literally you can just grab a huge handful, tear it into little pieces and throw it in anything like warm grains. It'll kind of melt down in the grains, or you can throw it in with whatever. Or if you want it raw, you can eat it in a salad, but I'm not a big fan of raw kale. But I do like it lightly like wilted. Oh, and guess
you make
what?
kale chips?
Kale chips?
Kale chips are
In
good.
the oven?
Have you all had farro?
Oh, I have farro.
I have farro.
Yeah.
I bought it. I finally bought some. So like now I'm keeping farro, quinoa, lentils, all those in, and they say wild rice is okay too for this particular fiber fueled book, just not the processed white rice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's been kind of fun. And I'm with you, Michelle. I'm not doing a diary. I'm just tracking like the 30 different.
Yeah.
So I think it might be interesting to track and see like how my moods are and my energy levels.
That's what I'm most interested in. When you anyway, what else, Amy? Did you have anything else before?
No, it was just I was kind of laughing a little while ago when we were talking about different things. I actually, you guys already know this, but I had some kimchi in the
Oh yeah.
How'd that go? In
Yeah,
the
let's talk
airport,
about
right?
in the
fermentation.
airport.
Okay.
Let's give us a go and see how it goes. My flight was only like an hour from there, so I figured if it went terribly bad, it wasn't too long.
Maybe not for you, but what about your neighbors? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Actually, and it ended up okay. It was
Did,
good. So now
did
I need to
So
find a
was it
good.
like fresh made kimchi, or it wasn't like one of those places you just pre-packaged or something?
you
No,
didn't
it
get
was
out of
like
a vending machine, did you?
That's like gas
They-
station sushi.
Oh my God. Ugh.
no, it was like at an actual sushi restaurant, and I mean, still it was in the airport, and that was, kind of living on the edge a
Yeah.
little bit too.
You're so
But it was.
brave.
I
What
was like,
airport? You said was it at the Atlanta airport?
no, it was at Detroit. I had to think.
Oh,
I was like, where was
That's not
I?
too bad. That's a big one with lots of,
yeah. At
Yeah,
least it's a major one.
I mean, probably not.
you know,
But I
you're
mean,
just,
I lived to tell about it,
you
and
risk
I
taker, you.
didn't. I know
Yeah.
didn't make any messes or anything.
I like kimchi. I had
Yeah.
many moons ago when I lived in Arizona. There was this great Korean restaurant that I used to go to with a friend of mine when we'd have a little extra cash. That was like a big treat. And I had, I'm from upstate New York. Like we don't eat things like that. And so I remember just going to that restaurant, and there was always all kinds of really strange stuff, but they would always start you out with some kimchi. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, we ate some weird food there for sure.
I
Whew.
love weird
Yeah.
food.
Me
That's good.
too. I do. Just no lima beans. I can't do it.
Oh, I will eat lima beans, but
Yeah.
I like them really like sautéed in butter. Like that's the way I like lima beans.
Well, if you
Well,
put
there
enough
you go.
butter on anything, like you can probably get through it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a question. Just so, like, I really will eat almost anything, but I do not care for lima beans. I'm not a huge fan of liver. I have a few things I just really don't like to eat. Amy, do you have any food you don't like to eat?
I mean, there's some that I prefer more than others, but there's really nothing that if I was at somebody's house for dinner and they put something in front of me that I wouldn't.
You
The
wouldn't
only
like
thing,
hide it under your plate?
no, the only thing,
I used to do that
when
as a
I
kid.
was little, and I think we went down this conversation before about like, when did kids like only eat chicken nuggets and French fries? Like, when did that
Right,
become
man,
a
we had
thing?
to eat everything.
That
The only
started
thing,
around the time my kids were little because we had, I mean, I know we had friends and family and a lot of times, especially if you make a nicer dinner, like the kids would be like, oh, the kids have their nuggets and
yeah,
French. And I
yeah.
mean,
The
I
only
always felt like that was okay once in a while, but like I was not gonna let them. And Carter was super picky when he was younger, and Sam ate everything. But honestly, like when they were babies, they ate everything. And so now it's all full circle. They both eat pretty much what, they both have good, I don't know what you call that, but like variety in their diets and what they like. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know when that actually started, but I felt like that was not a good
Yeah.
situation.
The only thing I ever remember, like my mom kind of making like a separate, like, or a different option, and it wasn't even really that different, but she would make like stuffed green peppers,
Mm.
and instead of actually putting mine into the pepper, and I still to this day am not a fan of, like, I love red peppers, orange peppers, yellow peppers, but there's something about the green ones that just like, ugh, I don't know.
I'm with you on that. I
Me
will eat
too.
them. I
Me
will
too.
not
Isn't
eat
that
them
weird?
raw because they don't digest right for me, and I'll be tasting green peppers for like 4 days. But
Yeah.
I do love stuffed peppers, but what I do is I cook the peppers first, then I stuff them and then bake them. And then I still don't usually eat the whole pepper. But if it's really soft, I'll eat a little bit of it. It adds good flavor. I just don't like the pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really
I
the
That's
will
only
not eat
funny because,
liver.
like,
thing.
all three of us are not like green. And I have to say, of all the things that like I kind of avoid, because in my dad's words, it gives me agita.
Ashida.
Agita. Used to call it agita. You get agita from your, yeah.
Can you
Anyway,
translate into English?
so agita
Is
would
that
be
the
like,
poops?
little like you're burping and,
Oh.
you get a
Oh, that's what
little,
green peppers do. Yeah.
yeah. So I tend to avoid them. Same thing, like if I make stuffed peppers, because I do love stuffed peppers, I won't make them in green peppers. I make them in a red or a yellow or an orange one.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just as good, I think, as green pepper or stuffed green peppers, and very similar, or like stuffed cabbage.
Mm.
And I love
I
cabbage. Like I
love
could eat
stuffed
cabbage all
cabbage.
day long.
And I
Yeah.
I'll make meatless versions of all that stuff, and I still love
Well,
it.
that's because you don't eat any meat anymore, right, Lara?
Very, very rarely. And the reason I'll eat meat is usually because I'll be at some place where they're only serving a meat dish, and I'm just not the person that's going to be like, oh, I can't eat that. I mean, because I can.
Yeah.
I don't I can. It's not like I physically can't eat it. So,
Yeah.
and every now and then I feel like my body will just be craving chicken, and I don't know if it's because I'm maybe needing protein or whatever that week, and I will allow myself to go get some chicken salad, or I'll make
Yeah.
something with chicken in it, but it's rare, really rare. I
Yeah.
don't normally miss meat at all.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Amy, do you eat meat, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah, I
eat
don't
all
eat.
of them or like?
I mean, I will. Left to my own devices, like here at the house, I pretty much do chicken and ground turkey. Like I can't tell you that I don't know that I've ever bought beef in the grocery store. And I grew up on a beef farm.
No, true. Yeah.
So,
They flavor a little different. Yep.
yeah, so that and like pork, like I don't really
Yeah, I
do
don't do pork.
pork. And it's just I would just rather have chicken or
Chicken or
ground turkey.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Huh.
What about you? Is there something you won't eat, Michelle, besides green
Other
peppers?
than
Any
lima
meat?
beans and liver, I don't like liver.
Yeah, liver's nasty.
Yeah,
Well,
I
see,
just
I would eat liver.
well
Like if
they
I
say
knew where it came
yeah,
from. I don't know that I
yeah,
would buy it in the store, but like we would
yeah,
eat liver at home. Liver and
yeah,
onions.
never. I'm like, there's too many other things to eat. I'm like, nope, not for me.
Yeah, my
And I
grandmother used
remember
to
as
make
a kid,
liver.
yeah, like I think
It
that's
was
part of it too.
it
Like
was
you
gross. The idea, oh yeah.
liver and
My
onion,
dad
yeah,
loves liver, like liver
yeah,
and onions, and I
Mm,
remember
yeah.
once my grandma was making it, and it smelled really good while she was making it, and I'm like, and then she put it on my plate, and I took a bite, and the first bite, the taste was good, and then I started chewing it, and it's like
Oh, the
that real
texture. Yeah,
chalky.
yeah.
Oh, I don't think I could even get that bite down. And ever since then, I'm like, nope.
Not there's too many other things to eat. I guess that's how
Wow.
I always feel about it. Like, okay, yeah, there's so many other choices.
Yeah,
Really?
that's how I feel.
I'm sure we can figure something else out. Yeah. Like,
yeah,
I
I
think
haven't had it for a long time. Like again, not something that I would buy at the store.
it,
Like we had it when I was growing up, just because. Yeah,
it was
You
there.
used
Yeah.
every part of
Yeah.
the animal. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we all did
Interesting.
that now, we probably would eat way less meat.
I think
Mm,
that's true. I think
If we
that's
all had to raise our own animals, or even if we
yeah.
had to be anywhere at all involved with the process of slaughtering
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
eating the meat, I think most people would eat way less meat, and some people might not eat it at all.
And I think
mm.
that's the way, like, I think that's how it was because it's hard to get meat. You know what I mean?
Well, I
And
Oh
so
yeah,
know.
my
you
grandfather had a butcher
yeah,
shop. Like like the butcher shop was there on the farm.
yeah, so
That's the thing.
you
Like, I get that people think, like, okay, well, people say we're carnivores, but technically we're not carnivores. We're
no,
omnivores,
omnivores, yeah.
and so we're not designed to necessarily be meat eaters. We can eat meat, but it's like if we were really
It used to
carnivores,
be
we'd have
like a
long, pointy
special
teeth.
yeah, it used to be like more of a well, first of all, because it was hard, right? If you're hunting and gathering, and then it had to last a certain
Yeah,
amount of time. So it was more like you didn't eat it every day. And when
right.
you did, it was like much smaller portions, right?
Not
So
the $160 tomahawk steak
right?
something. I'm like, who
Eat your
needs that?
who was just talking about eating a 2-pound steak?
Good
Somebody
grief.
this weekend I was talking
I
to.
was gonna say, I feel like this is sounding familiar, but we may not have talked to the same person.
Yeah, it was this weekend. I don't know, my mind is not good.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Yeah.
like, I think even people who are proponents of plant-based, aren't going to say like, you should never ever have any kind of meat whatsoever. Like, I feel like, they're like, there are going to be times where maybe it's appropriate, or like when I go
Yeah.
to Italy, I'm going to eat some meat. One, because I think it's way less full of
Oh, it's
bad stuff.
Yeah, let's just say, like, I mean, yeah, it's just a different, there's so many more, I don't know, the food's just really good there.
Yeah,
Like,
Europe has
yeah,
such different standards for what you
yeah,
can do to food and what you can put
yeah,
in food.
yeah.
And so I've heard this so many times, and you know what? I don't even have any proof. I just listen. I've just like believed it because I've heard it.
This is not
Yeah, and I was
based
gonna
on
say, so
any proof at all, right?
yeah, and that is the problem because
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, people are on this big kick about the food dyes right now. I'm like, oh, we need to do what the EU does, blah blah blah, all this
yeah,
stuff. I'm like, nope, EU has food dyes,
yeah,
so
they do
it's
have
not
some.
always true. Yeah.
Yeah.
so
You know
So
just,
what?
yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
this is a complete diversion, but I found an app that we'll put in the notes in our show notes. It's called Yuka. It's spelled
oh, I use
Yuka.
that a lot now,
Yeah, it's
Lara.
like a
yeah, I
Thank
think you've talked about
you.
that before on here.
they do have, so they use European standards to rate foods, and you can scan the QR code, or not the QR code, what's the thing, the barcode on the food. But what I like is they do tell you if it has additives that are considered risky. And
Yeah,
they call it, it's like green, yellow, red. So it's like, okay, this one has some additives, but you know, they're not like super anything to worry about. Or like, hey, this one has 3 red additives that are like shown to cause
danger,
problems.
danger.
Yeah.
Make
So I do
another
like that.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
is surprising, like I don't buy a lot of the junky stuff, but if you scan some of the junky stuff
Oh
and
my
then look at
gosh.
what's in there, you're like,
Yeah.
holy sh.
Well, I have to say, I'm just looking at my little list of things I've scanned recently. One of the things when I was like, okay, I need to start eating some more bread or whatever. And so that thin sliced Dave's Killer Bread, the 21 whole grains, that got an excellent. I
Mm.
remember Googling that. And every once in a, who am I kidding? A lot of nights because I am not a meal prepper and all of that.
Everyone, so,
Yeah,
never
never
Kind of
mind.
every
mind.
night.
I'm trying to go with some real honesty here. But I
Yeah.
like those Amy's vegetable lasagnas,
Oh,
and
I
they
like
get an
those.
excellent. They get an excellent.
Yeah.
'Cause
All
I
of
was
the
like,
Amy's frozen ones do
yeah,
really well. So those are my go-to when I'm in a fix and need something quick.
exactly. So I was
I've
like,
never
you know
even
what,
heard of these.
Oh, they're good.
Amy's are good. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
You would think
Anyway,
I would have heard of them.
the thing,
Amy, yeah, look in your
yeah,
frozen
because they're
food.
named after
It's
you.
probably because you don't shop in the frozen food aisle much, Amy.
I
Ever. I
don't
bet you never go there.
really, except for
Yeah,
ice
so it's
cream.
kind of funny when you start to look at things and you're like, that's bad? Like, are you sure that's
Like,
bad?
no.
Yeah, because
Okay,
bad is
so
worse than poor, right? Like, yeah, on that, yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
Yeah.
so I gotta
We
ask.
digress. Should we go
Yeah,
back to our book?
I gotta ask because I know Lara and I watched the Netflix documentary.
Oh yeah.
So we got to talk about the fecal transplants.
I did. So, in all transparency, again, being honest, I did not watch the documentary. However, what I did do, which was super interesting, was I, of course, Googled it and looked at the reviews of the documentary. So
Oh, I
that
thought you were
was,
gonna say the reviews of fecal
well,
transplants.
Same here.
but I mean, so some of the stuff that yeah, so go ahead, since you guys actually watched it. I am curious to hear what your reviews are.
Yeah. It was well, so on the fecal transplant, because we talked about that on the last one, on the last episode, just a little bit.
Yeah,
But
we did.
there was so this documentary followed what was it, total four
I
people?
think it was 4 people,
Yeah,
yeah.
4 people that had like different things or whatever. And the one girl was doing fecal transplant using her boyfriend as a donor. And
It's like a homemade situation.
yes,
We do not recommend
they
you do that at home.
they
No.
definitely said that you don't recommend that they take things into their own hands. But yeah, they basically like had it frozen. The specimen was like in the freezer, and then they showed him like putting it in a blender, blending it all up, and then they like used this syringe to suck up the slurry and put it in the capsules.
Okay, just so disgusting.
We might need to put a warning label on this episode.
It's like, oh, and I just happened to be eating dinner while I was watching that, and I was like, whoa, whoa, that's a little rough. But the part that kind of cracked me up is like they were all in gloves and all this stuff, and they put like this plastic kind of tablecloth over the counter and stuff, but they're in their freaking kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I feel like they should have maybe done that in the garage.
yeah,
They
something.
basically put it into capsules because you can buy empty gelatin
Yeah.
capsules. And and then the worst part for me was the idea of her actually ingesting those capsules and
Oh,
swallowing them.
I may just
I was so overwhelmed by that. Whereas I have heard of fecal transplants being really helpful, but I always thought it was done like by a doctor.
Yeah, I think they kind of recommended that that's kind of the way you go.
Yeah.
And they could do it more as like an enema sort of thing
Yeah,
versus
yeah. But what's
going from
interesting
the
is
other
she
side.
did notice the change. She noticed good and bad changes, but the gut health seemed to improve, like her general gut health, because she
Yeah.
had a really difficult time, I think. But just as the other book Amy talked about says, the gut and the mind are so connected that certain of the bugs in your gut can also influence parts of the brain. And they even talked about this where her boyfriend had dealt with some depression. She had not ever dealt with depression, but after she did the fecal transplant, she started dealing with some depression. So I don't think they continued using him as a donor.
And I have to say that connection was I don't want to call it, I guess my favorite part of the mind gut connection book. Like when I started to, they were talking about that and just the transfer from like the mothers to unborn children. Like, I'm like, holy goodness. And so yeah, all of that. So if I had to pick the thing that I found the most sort of interesting and that I'll go back to and really revisit in the mind gut book, that is the section I want to go back to and really look at that. I thought and the impact of um traumatic events in your childhood on the whole gut situation and like how you handle stress and risk and I just found that part was super fascinating, that it can impact things like your how crazy that your gut health and things that happen to you can impact like your willingness to take risks and just how it's all connected. I was so just like, "Wait, what? Are you?"
So is
Yeah.
that like what your innate bacteria in your gut is? Can you change that, or is that like set in stone?
And Amy, you read it too, so correct me. I listened. You actually have the actual book. I felt like it's pretty hardwired, but yes, you can certainly influence, but it's in, and correct me if I'm wrong, Amy, but it felt to me like because and this goes back to my original question, right? Like if you're healthy, should you take probiotics or whatever? Because every person is individual, it almost feels like fingerprints, right? Like your microbiome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it makes it super challenging to figure out how you would impact that, right? And I think, honestly, regardless of how you feel about AI or anything, I feel like with the new technologies that we have, the ability to collect, I mean, because there's how many billions of like there's so many, like to just even attempt to figure out which bugs is just overwhelming. But now I feel like with some of the AI stuff that we have, that they might be able to do more specific recommendations and like
Yeah.
for
Well, all they need to
individuals.
do is hire a few of those Facebook ads engineer people or the people who run Google to listen in on our phones. They should get into the gut and be like, we got recommendations for you now. Here's what you should
Yeah.
eat.
I have to say that was so, Amy, you actually had the physical book, and so
Yeah.
you made notes and did whatever. What, like, that section really spoke to me, but what part of that book, because I know you said like 10 pages in, you're like, oh my gosh, this is like really, I don't want to say life changing, but certainly Yeah, impactful.
Yeah, I was actually just looking because I do the little with the
Yes,
little
yeah.
tabs. So I was just looking at some of the ones because
Okay, surprise.
I can't remember anything. So I put like little tabs and stuff, and I was actually just looking. I just saw it. Oh, here, is talking about, and um I definitely equate this to me being really relatively healthy is because I was like a little dirt ball when I was a kid,
Right, me
and
too.
growing up
Yeah,
on a
yeah,
farm.
same. Yeah.
But it talks about this is on page 25. Growing up in such a germ-free environment takes a serious toll on the development of your brain. So it's just talking about like, you know, how we now like everybody wants to scrub their kids and not let them play in the dirt, and we have antibacterial everything and
Yeah.
Yeah.
all of that. So yeah, that was definitely one of the things that I had marked in here because I do think that there's something to
I do
not
too.
washing your
They
hands all the
say
time.
immunity is, I know immunity is a big impact. It can be impacted. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he
Yeah.
was talking about, not to get like graphic, and since I haven't had any children, I'm like, Lara, maybe you
Oh,
can speak to this. But he was
yeah.
talking about how the benefits of vaginal birth versus C-section, and
Mm.
all the the transfer of the mother's I guess microbiome, right? Like her
Mhm.
bugs and all of cancel that. Sorry, wrong terminology. Don't quote me. But he tells this story of being somewhere and watching a woman give birth, like he was in Africa or somewhere. Do you remember
Oh,
this? And he's watching this
yes.
woman totally silent. She has a baby onto a like banana leaf or whatever. And just, no, there's nothing sterile, whatever. Yeah, that I was like, well, I haven't ever had any children, so that sounds really odd to me, and then sort of common sensey to me, right?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, so
Yeah, and I definitely heard that before that like, and again, not to, because sometimes like some of the stuff you read then it feels like you're like shaming people who've had
right, yeah,
C-sections,
yeah.
and so not to like, because I haven't had any of
I
them
was gonna say,
anyway.
Yeah,
have
no, and
you?
I've
But
had two kids, one each way, and yeah, and you're right, there shouldn't be any shame around it, but I do feel like sometimes I'm hearing more, and this is totally anecdotal, but I do hear like more and more people like where they want to get, not the people, but like the doctors want them to get C-sections because it's easier to schedule, or they're going over the due date or whatever the reason, and there probably are good medical reasons. I know when I had mine, it was medically, there was a medical reason, but that's not to say that, it's okay. It's not okay. It's certainly
Right.
okay however you want to give birth, but it is interesting to look at that. It's kind of like the whole thing between breastfeeding and bottle feeding is, are you getting all the right, that's another way they get their biome created is through the breast milk, and not everybody can breastfeed.
Yeah.
So
mhm.
again, no shame on that. But all those things probably do affect the developing fetus, the
Microbiome,
brain, the
yeah.
developing baby, the gut biome, which, as we know, the gut biome, what I'm so fascinated by in just a general terms is how everything I'm reading now and from these books and the documentary, the gut biome is so integral. Oh my gosh. To
I can
I'm
never
not
say that
saying
word
that
either.
right.
Yeah, I
I'm not
can't
ever
say
saying that word again. It's so influential when it comes to everything in the body, the mind,
it. Yeah.
the joints, like your mindset, like you said, maybe it's also related to, whether or not you take risks, and like that just amazes me. And the other thing I think I remember reading is like you can actually see a change in the microbiome within 24 hours of changing what you eat.
Yeah, that was in that documentary. They talked
Yeah,
about that.
that's also
Um,
really interesting to me.
I think one of the other things, and I had heard this before, but I think they may have talked about it both in the documentary and in this book. Um, but is when they took the some of the microbiome or whatever from an obese rat or mouse and put it into like they basically swapped,
Oh,
and you could like take
yes.
a skinny mouse and an obese mouse and swap their things, and like
Yes.
they
That
would
was
become,
fascinating. Well, and
yeah.
now everybody's like, I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people are turning to like the GLP-1 drugs,
Mhm.
And, there's side effects to those things. And while they are effective, is it actually addressing, like the gut biome? But in the case of, and I know they're not there yet, but at some point you could just change your gut biome and influence your,
Nope.
your body.
Well,
I guess
and
I
it
don't know what
makes
you
you
call that.
wonder, okay, and I hadn't really had this thought until just now, which is kind of embarrassing. But so it makes you wonder, all those folks who are, who are going, you choosing to use like the GLP-1s and all of that. If you just ate your 30 different different vegetables and whatever,
Well, and I think there is
you
probably
know,
some of that, but again, like this goes back to not shaming people who
yeah,
really do need the help and
me-
have tried everything,
yeah,
because everybody's different. And maybe it is as simple as, like you said, like it's, there's a fat mouse and a skinny mouse. The skinny mouse and the fat mouse don't have any control over that.
right.
It's just their makeup.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
if this is a way that the fat mouse can get skinnier,
Or healthier. Let's just call it,
let's say
healthier, right?
healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Healthier, or and going back to the book, The Mind. Why can't I remember that title? That is really
You need
bad.
more fiber.
Well, not the fiber fueled book, the other book.
Mind gut connection.
Thank you. Woof, man, that's hard. If so much comes from, right, your mom, right, and then the things that happened to you as a child, like, because they dug into too, like the impact of trauma and stress on young children, like when you're developing, like how that impacts your microbiome as well. So the whole thing it definitely changed my mindset around that, like how much that microbiome could
Yeah,
be
how connected it
impacting
is.
Well,
so
also,
many different parts.
I would be curious to know, is it like a chicken and egg thing? Because like you
Well,
said,
they even talk about
initially,
that. Like they're not sure,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, they said when I was just listening to that part that it's kind of both. Like the one impact. And Amy, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it like
You
90?
act like I remember everything that's
Well,
in this
you
book.
do because you're so smart.
You need fiber.
But like 90, so like the gut communicates like the
Oh,
90%, and then the brain communicates like 10 or 5%.
yes,
Like
that's
it's
exactly right. I
huge.
have that marked actually.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find the actual thing. Talk amongst yourselves.
I
But I
feel like
do,
it was 90-10, but
I
it could
do,
be
I do
95-5
too.
or
So
something
wait,
like that.
what was
So
90-10?
the gut is actually, and Amy will find it.
Yeah.
The gut is actually communicating to the brain like 90%
Oh, I see.
of
So
the
what
information
how the
transfer.
gut is influencing the brain?
Yeah, like that's
Okay.
90%. And the brain can, does the other piece, whether it's 5 or 10%, I can't remember. So the bulk of the communication is from the gut to the brain. Now the brain does communicate a little bit to the gut, but the bulk of it is your gut communicating with your brain.
So it's kind of like the gut is mainly running the show.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, the consensus of the stuff that I read and watched is that the gut is way more in control of everything about our bodies and minds than we realize. And that the first step to trying to improve our health is getting
Is
the
your
gut
gut?
healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's our bottom line, everybody.
Yeah.
There you go.
We
So if you
did
don't
all
want to
that
watch the whole
research.
thing, just
Yeah.
scroll to the end.
Just get your 30, vegetables and fruits and nuts and grains and whatever. Start there. Amy's right. Oh my gosh, Amy's always
She's
right.
right.
Here we go. Okay. I was like, I know I have this. 90% of the signals conveyed through the vagus nerve travel from the gut to the brain, while just 10% of traffic runs in the opposite direction from the brain to the gut. In fact, the gut can handle most of its activities without any interference from the brain, while the brain seems to depend greatly on vital information from the gut.
Wow.
Yeah.
So no wonder when we eat bad stuff and we don't feel good later. Like,
Right?
that's why.
Whoa. Yeah, crazy.
Also, like, think about it. Like, I mean, it is the processed food and the bad stuff. Here's a cat.
Hi, kitty, kitty.
that seems to cause a lot of the problems because it doesn't support the biome.
Right.
It seems like it all comes down to the gut biome being healthy and supported by. Sorry, there's
The random cat making, yeah. And that becomes really challenging because everybody's microbiome is different.
Yes, and so what works for one person isn't necessarily going to work for the other.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like
in
what
the same way.
some of these professionals are saying is that the way to get your gut into
Diverse
shape
and
is
healthy.
diversity in what you're eating
Yep.
and basically avoiding the processed stuff, the mostly, it's even meat. Meat
Yep.
is not so good for you apparently. And I mean, there's so many lists. There's a list of so many things that they talk about, like the sugars and the artificial foods that are created. I just saw some video that was like how they make Pringles.
Oh my God.
It was like there's
That
no
can't even be good.
potatoes in there.
Cancel that. We need to probably not say that.
Well,
What?
okay. I'm not
No.
saying there's zero potatoes, but
Yeah.
there ain't whole potatoes. Nobody's slicing potatoes and throwing them in there. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think their Pringles executives are listening, but if you are, I'm not dissing you because I freaking love Pringles. They're good, but obviously you got to take that with a very small dose. Like if you're going to eat, sugar and ice cream, then you can have a handful of Pringles, but don't make it your main source of food.
Choose your treats wisely. Yeah.
This was another thing that I had marked in here. It says the gut microbiota weigh about as much as your liver and more than your brain or your heart.
Yeah,
I thought that
love
was fascinating.
Yeah. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I just think yeah. Go ahead.
I don't think I don't know. The way things have been progressing, maybe I will, but I say this, I'm like, I don't know that I'll live long enough to see this all come to fruition, but I think once we get this stuff all like mapped out, I mean, just look how far we've come since
I know.
like we've been involved in the equine nutrition world.
Well, they were talking about crap. What's that word?
Epigenetics.
Thank you.
Is that what you're looking for?
They were talking about that in that book. Yeah. So like that whole.
Yeah, I think it'll be fascinating. And like, can you just, instead of taking drugs or something, like, can you just take a fecal or not even, but like a fecal transplant from somebody who is skinny and put it into somebody who may have more challenges? And
yeah, that's such a good question, because if your biome can be changed by what you eat, then that is only going to work if you then take care of yourself, just like anything.
Yeah.
But so I do wonder, like, if you take the fecal transplant and it helps you with whatever it is you're wanting to change, like how long does that stay in effect before either one, you have to just keep taking the fecal transplants? Maybe that's how it works.
And again, they talked about it in the book, and I think they talked about it in the documentary too. Like, I think, and again, no expert, but at this point in time, it really just is used for the people with C. diff. I think all this other stuff is obviously, experimental right now, but it'll be interesting to see how that progresses down the road. So
it's super interesting. I mean, we have not even scratched the surface.
No. Yeah. I definitely am going to go back and since I have it on my Audible, re-listen to that. But
I want to read the Gut Mind. That's the one I didn't read. I had the other one and the documentary, but
super interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And as a reminder from last episode, check your poop out, because apparently the way it looks is
matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the oh my gosh, I had remembered the name of the chart the other week and I forget what it is
the
now.
poop chart.
Yeah, but it has like a specific name.
It has a name.
It does. Yeah, I remember the poop chart.
Now I'm gonna have to Google that because I can't remember.
I wonder if we can find a picture of it and post it when we post this.
I'm sure we can. Yeah,
I'll see if I can find one that I can legally use.
The Bristol stool chart.
Yeah, there we go. Bristol.
Yeah, that's so official. It's not any. I mean, poop chart's way more fun.
It is
We
windy.
draw the log chart.
The-
Log
Seriously. Lara.
You can edit that out.
You're logging your logs.
You need to trademark that. That's
Logging
really
your
good.
What? Oh, Michelle was food for your mood.
Food for your
Food
mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And logging your logs.
Okay, should we end on that? I don't think we're gonna top that at all.
Cut us off now
Yeah.
before things go awry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's true. Time
Good
to sign
times.
off, right?
Okay.
All right, well, as always, check us out on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll be back with another scintillating review in the future of something else that we know nothing about.
Yeah.
All right, ready for the countdown?
Okay.
Yeah. We going fast.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna do it fast. Remember, 1, 2, 3.
Monkey chatter,
chatter,
monkey chatter.
monkey chatter.
Who you have it matters.
Thanks for listening to Monkey Chatter today. As a reminder, we want to let you know that while we think we are really smart, none of us are doctors or medical professionals. So anything that we say or suggest on this podcast should be run by your doctor before you make any major lifestyle, nutrition, or medication changes. Take care and be well, friends.